The world of faux finishes is ever expanding, and here to keep us on top of the latest trends is Gary Lord, and he'll be demonstrating a heavenly finish that you can use to bring new depth to your living spaces. Hi, Gary, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too. And Gary, you always bring such wonderful things for us to see.
Thank you.
And I understand you have a brand new finish you're going to share with me.
It's one of my favorites. Of course, I say that every time.
You say it every time, and it's always my favorite, too.
But I always find new ones.
See? Then that's perfect. Keep sharing them with us, too.
Right.
This new finish is called Heaven's Gate?
It is. It's I believe it or not, it's a Venetian plaster technique, and it has a lot of depth to it and a lot of iridescent qualities. And the way I came up with it was I was looking at a wild turkey's feather, and all the iridescent colors and the browns and the wild turkey feather. I thought, well, I could do that in paint, and that's how I came up with this. And then I put the little diamond pattern into it to create that sort of a gate look.
It is beautiful. The colors in this are just so rich.
Oh, they are. They're gorgeous. It's one of my favorite palettes. But anyway, we're using material today called Venetian gem.
Okay.
And the Venetian gem is a plaster. It's already pre-pigmented, so I'm using everything just all pre-colored. I don't have to mix anything up. I'm just using standard colors. It's just the way that I apply them that gets that final look.
Right, and you've shared those with us before, and I think that they're so great because it is so easy.
Oh, it is. It is. It makes it very easy. You don't have to worry about mixing colors. You just go ahead and apply them in our easy step-by-step fashion to get to this beautiful finish.
Right. Now, Gary, how many different colors could you actually do this in? I mean, particularly, I love all these dark, rich colors.
Oh, I do too.
But if you were more of a pastel person, could you use the same effect but with different colors? I mean, obviously, it's not going to be...
It won't be the same, but I have used iridescent colors in lighter values and pearlized colors on cream backgrounds. It's very elegant. It's a very classic look, but not as deep and as rich as that. You're right.
Right. And how many colors does this come in?
Oh, gosh. I really don't... 17, 20, some.
So there's a wide array. There's something for everybody then.
Yeah, and then you can intermix them and make up your own colors from the standard colors. So you could go, 100 colors.
Perfect.
If you intermix them.
Perfect. Well, all right, Gary, let's get started then, and let's show everybody how easy this is, because I'm sure they're looking at this going, that's going to be easy.
Well, when you break it down into steps, it's like a lot of things. It looks hard when you just look at it, but if you break it down to step by step by step, it's pretty easy.
Okay, let's see.
Well, first off, you want to have a tool that you would use to apply the Venetian plaster with. And you can see up here I have a wide range of tools that you could use. Some have handles to them, some are more trowel blades, some are bigger blades. So you pick a tool that fits good in your hand and also is the appropriate size for your job.
These tools over here, these are really nice. This seems like it's kind of small and a lot of control with these.
It's good for me. I have a small hand, so it works good for me. And they're made of stainless steel. They're made in Germany. These are called spatulas. And all of these blades are actually stainless steel. And that way they don't tarnish and get rust on them.
Oh, okay.
So, but they're inexpensive. Like a pack of these is $20.
That's great. And they're completely reusable over and over and over.
For years. It'll
forever.
last your whole lifetime.
Okay, great.
All right, so the first thing you want to do, I'm going to take the brown sapphire Venetian gem color.
Oh, it looks like chocolate pudding or frosting.
It does. It looks like food. And the first step is you want to apply it a nice, even skim coat all over the board as 100% coverage. And what I'm doing is I put it on by lowering the blade. And then when I raise the blade up to a high angle, I scrape it off.
Pulling off the excess.
And that's what I want to do. It's that high 90-degree angle.
Now, do we want the color variation that we have in here?
No, what I'll do is I'll keep working and
work all of it out
till you get it all off like that. Now, these little scratches, don't worry about it because they get buried away. You always get a little of that on your first time.
And you know what? I think that, too, one of the things that I really like about this stuff is you can do this on any type of surface. I mean, if you've got a wall at home that is kind of beat up, or maybe you've had 1,000 pictures hanging on it, or maybe you've got kids running around and they've just beat the heck out of the wall, this is great.
You're exactly right. Because it
hides
fills in
everything.
all those imperfections. It's a plaster. But it's just tinted. So that would be your first step. You'd want to take that skim coat, I call it, everywhere in your whole room.
Right. And now how big of an area would you work in?
Oh, it doesn't matter because this is a positive application. You can start and stop. You could go answer the phone. You could go, make lunch, with the kids. It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
So you can work any size.
Oh, okay, great. Perfect.
So once that's done and dry, it will look like this.
Beautiful. It almost looks like a leather green.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really I like this almost on its own, too.
It is pretty. But
Now,
now what
could
you want...
somebody just apply just this portion on?
Sure.
Beautiful.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Now what you want to do is you want to take the exact same color, and you can use this blade or a different blade, it wouldn't matter, and apply that skim coat again. But this time, I'm not going to take off quite as much. I'm still applying my skim coat, and what I'm doing is building up the depth of my color, as well as filling in any more imperfections that might be there. And now I'll go in and I'll apply what's called, on top of this still wet skim, because this is not fully dry, so now I'm working in a smaller confined area, because I want this skim to still be slightly wet, even though mostly scraped off. I'll take my blade, and you can see there's very little on that blade, and I'll lower the angle of the blade so it's almost flat to the surface, and I slightly drag it across the area, and that's how I create my texture, is by that little hit-skip motion.
Let's see if they can get a view of just the different texture that it's got on here. It's kind of hard to see because it's the same color.
But you can see where it's
But
dark
right in
and light,
here.
and that's what's creating that texture.
Okay.
And really, you're not looking to have it real thick off the surface. It's a minutely raised amount, like, say, a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
So it's very little that you have to raise it up off of the surface, but just enough that it will create that texture. And again, the way you do that is when I apply paint, I drop that angle down and just slightly drag it across the surface. That blade is almost totally flat to the surface, and I'm flattening out all of those raised areas, so they're very level with their own self.
Okay. Now, Gary, you're working on boards today for
Yes.
demo purposes for us.
I am.
But do you recommend that if you're going to try this at home, before you go to your wall, that to go ahead and try it out on board so you can get comfortable with as far as the lift, what amount of pressure you want to apply, your skin coating, I mean, light dragging. I mean, it's kind of probably going to take a little bit for people to get used to it.
It does.
And instead of going directly to your wall, start on a board.
Yes, and don't start on cardboard. Start on like a plastic or styrene. This has high moisture content, and if you go onto a cardboard, unless you have an oil-based paint on it, the moisture will get into that board and warp it, and then it's like a roller coaster,
And it's all
you
gonna
can't.
be distorted. And
That's right. So you want to use like a plastic or a styrene. That's what I'm using.
Okay. It's also a good idea to do that, too, to see your colors. And, you know, if you want to do more brown or more red or, you know, more of the gold color.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can't tell you how often I think that such and such colors are going to work, but you never really know until you make your sample. I mean, when I originally made up Heaven's Gate, I thought, well, I think this will work. And I had to tweak it and change it a little bit to make it be what I wanted.
Add more of this, add less of that. Okay.
Exactly.